heartbreaker. You got the best of me, and also probably a lot of Warriors fans as well. Where to from here? Well, we start with Warriors Anonymous. Let's go.
This is Warriors Anonymous.
Oh, welcome along, everyone, to, well, I guess everyone's kind of reeling a little bit from the match between the One New Zealand Warriors and the Melbourne Storm on Saturday night. Yeah, what a time to be alive, but not in a good way for Warriors fans. Moneta, we'll start with you, bro. Was this the biggest ever heartbreaker for a Warriors fan?
Yes, for me it was. Because we were about to break a hoodoo. I think we had won 14 games with the Storm, and I thought, with 2 minutes to go, we got it. Next minute, and during that last 2 minutes, my heart was racing like out. It was like I could feel my heart just like. And when they scored in the last minute, no, last seconds,
Your heart went.
yeah, pretty heartbroken.
Crestfallen. Oh, yeah, no, that was rough. Actually, before we even get into reviewing the game, one thing that happened during the week, which was a little bit exciting, and we'll go with short balls for this one, and that is the Warriors bought a bar right up in Rugby Unionsville, up in Kingsland near Eden Park. So everyone's wondering what the name is going to be. So we'll go around with you boys. We'll start with you, Buddha. What are we going to name the Wa Bar?
I don't know, I think maybe we call it the Wa Bar. That was my take. I'd go Wa Bar. Other than that, I don't really have many options. I just had the word Bunties. Come to Bunties. And after his little cameo, warrants a bar naming after him. So
Bunties. So
no,
that'd be
Bar's
like
the one.
that'd be every paw would be like super frothy or.
Yeah, a little bit of fizz.
Moneta, what do you reckon for the Warriors' owned bar?
I could just picture fans going at each other, a few drinks. I'll call it Day One.
The Day One? Yeah, okay. I can see that.
Like the other, this song for Day One. I've been here since Day One.
Yeah, that's good. I was thinking about what they could tie back to Day One. I was thinking like the lawnmower or something like that. But no.
When Phil Blake was here. And sexy Sean Hoppy. Oh.
The Phil Blake.
Phils.
Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, it's good to smile. It's good to laugh about things because frankly, last night there may not have been much of that going on. That first 40 minutes, Moneta, that in itself, I'll actually backtrack a little bit on what I had commented last night, because initially I kind of thought the whole half was trash. I went back and rewatched the game, and about half of it was good and half of it was awful. What went wrong for us in the first half?
I think pretty much the same deal from last week. Those basic errors just got them into the game. It was basic errors just running out momentum, I think. I don't think Webster would have been happy with that. And we know if we can cut them out, well, we've proven what we can do in the second half. So I think, again, it's just down to errors.
Yeah, fair. And we had a few of those. What was it, about 13 in the first half or something like that? Or?
Oh, yeah, we had quite a few. Quite a few. And unnecessary penalties, like the one with Lusick tackling the kicker and then just gifting them, a few metres down the field. So get rid of those, will be sweet.
And the defence especially as well. Like a lot of times up the middle, I was looking at what was going on there and thinking, what is going on here? Now, Buddha, in terms of the personnel, as we had thought during the week, Wade Egan was named in the team list, but we remained a bit sketchy on that. And of course, 24 hours before the game, he was scratched. Our boy Freddie Lusick, who just got himself a fresh deal as well, by the way, signed on to the end of 2026. So congrats. And then another of our guys, Chanel Harris-Tavita, came onto the bench. So, what did you make of those changes as we headed into kickoff?
Yeah, I think most Warriors fans were pretty surprised to see Wade named, and then not surprised to see Wade removed out of the 24. And then just a continuation of these ducks and drakes with Jazz on the bench and then swapped for CHT. But I think most of us see the blueprint with the fact that if Wade's not available, Freddie will start, and CHT potentially could carry the role on the bench as that backup dummy half, but also utility back as well, and at a pinch play in the middle. So yeah, I mean, I was obviously we want Wade there, first and foremost, first choice as well, but I think Freddie equipped himself pretty well last night, played big minutes, and his service was pretty good. He's not Wade, so I guess he plays his own game, but he played pretty tough, to be fair. And I just wanted to point out, and maybe I'm jumping the gun a bit, but Tuopiki had a great game as well, I thought. He some Warriors fans not criticise him, but perhaps could see the differences between Chance and Tiny Tane from the week before, and I think in elements of the game, Tuopiki got us out of trouble really, really well. And then in the second half, I think he got his game style on, or what I think Warriors fans wanted to see, a little bit more involvement. So both Freddie and Tane did a big game, and I think they both did it.
Yeah, Danger Mouse. That was a good code name that Isaac gave Tane during the week. I like that one. Speaking of Isaac, he's away on HIA again this week, so I didn't even do intros for us tonight. That's how bloody thrown I am from this whole game. Jared Cronin, Daniel Wharekura and Moneta Sauce joining you on this episode. Yeah. Moneta, look, as much as it was a crusher, there was so much to like about it. In terms of individual performances, Buddha's pointed out a couple of names there. Who stood out to you?
Whew. I think everyone stood out. It was hard to name a particular person, but I think, you think about Rocco Berry, I think he's cementing himself as like one of the starting centres. I mean, he's looking class. He's going up levels every game. Tuopiki again, I thought he was outstanding, and I was quite harsh on him last week. I thought he didn't fit the system, but I think yesterday he bounced back. Of course, Sean Johnson. I thought Metcalf played pretty well. A couple of slip passes to Montoya. And then you've got like DWZ for his 2 tries. Damn. What was that second try? Damn, that was good. And Jackson Ford made up for, last week. I thought he ran some pretty direct lines, so I think everyone stood up. But so it's hard to point out, but I think Rocco Berry, in regards to how he's living up every game, is the one where I'm like going, wow, here's a sleeper.
Yeah, and I noticed in the commentary as well, Michael Ennis talking about Rocco, talking him up, saying that in terms of what the work he does on the kick chase, it's actually some of the best, across the entire league for centres. So I actually got to give a good shout out as well. The guy who's really most impressed me across the first 2 games has actually been Dallin. I think DWZ has just been, even when the chips are down and we've been playing poorly, he's just been running full force, not even worrying about any sort of impacts on his own body and his wonderful hairstyle.
It's glorious.
But and he added a couple of tries, as you say, Moneta. He added a couple of nice tries, beautiful finishes as well. So I just got to really tip my hat to him. Now, Buddha, as bad as as patchy, shall we say, as the first half was, there was a good 35 minutes of the second half, which was pretty much spot on for what we're looking to do. What do you think?
100%. I think obviously half-time came at the right time for us. just so we could get messages out to the team. And I think he just pointed out, as he said in the presser, the errors that have been killing us. One thing I think also he pointed out is we're so quite passive on defence too, to let them burst at the middle. And I don't know what it is about Jerome Hughes and the Warriors, like he's just got a vendetta against us, because he doesn't seem to dominate a team as much as he did in that first half against us as well. So, but all it took was to fix up those errors, and look, we just went to work. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but every time I looked up after a fifth tackle kick, we either ran 59 metres or 61 metres. It seemed to happen every time, and we had them trapped pretty much. So we got led by Dallin. I think Dallin was going hard anyway, but I think the boys rallied and got back behind him. Talking about Tane, he got that second carry, not just a carry off the kick, but he got that second carry in the set as well. Roger chimed in too when needed, so we really got some momentum, which just freed up our boys. Our forwards could do what they do. Shawnee kicked to the corner, and I know they were a little bit confused. Why would you kick to Xavier Coates as well? But the reason is you don't let him have a carry. He's a big man, so they nullified that. And the amount of times we had them backpedaling, trying to kick out of their 40, we were just winning the arm wrestle. And I guess one thing I'll point out too, from an officiating point of view, look, we us Warriors fans always bemoan the fact that we're on the wrong side of the calls, but I think the thing that rings true in the NRL is the dominant team will get majority of the calls. And when we were dominating the game, we were getting the calls. And I just point to a couple of things. We had Harry Grant's challenge. He went to challenge and he was under pressure, right? And he put the ball on Bunty's foot, his bad. And then obviously the dick move of trying to go back 5 years, trying to play for a penalty of passing into the guy on the ground. Again, he got called. So I think it just goes to show that under pressure, and when the team's under pressure, you get the calls back. So just beautiful, really. Just seeing us flex and our game style and our urgency, and the try we scored with Metcalf getting it wide to Monty, just pressure. We just had them rattled, and we absolutely had them rattled as well. So up until that last 5 minute period, I thought we'd done enough.
And then some things happened. Moneta, it is fair to say that every time we seem to play the Melbourne Storm, they seem to just pull out some kind of at least one or two freakish bloody tries on us every single time. But what can we do defensively? What are the issues that we need to work on? Because if we're going to concede 30 points a game, it's going to make it hard for us to win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one. I think just sticking to the structures. I think Webster's mentioned about a lot of the times, and to what Daniel was saying, we were quite passive in the first half. But in the second half, you could see we were rushing up in the defence and getting in their faces, and especially when we kicked down to their end, we kept them down their end with our D, so putting a lot of pressure. But I think they'll fix it over the week. They'll be training quite hard. I saw the interview with Webster after the game, and he was equally the same, just lost for words, as was I. And he just said every day is going to be we're going to focus on what we can do in terms of defense and attack and everything like that. So I don't think there's a lot they can do, but I think it's just rectifying those areas and then the momentum carrying themselves. So hopefully they can fix it. But a lot of those tries were from just second-hand play, offloads and stuff like that. So that seems to be the killer for us most of the time, like to Katoa, to Peppenhausen, then Jerome Hughes to, I can't remember the other one, the centre, who was really quick. It seems to be the second-hand play that's killing us.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, it's just such a hard one to kind of get a gauge on as well. So early in the season, I suppose everyone's trying to figure out who they are as a team. And I mean, Buddha, we're kind of in a bit of a strange spot as Warriors fans, because we've come through the first two games and we've been the better team both times. Even Craig Bellamy said, that he thought that we deserved to win the game. So we've come through 2 games, we've played the better football, but we haven't come away with any victories at all. So what do you think is the key to unlocking a bit of success?
Well, they talk about the consistency in the game, right? Bad things will happen. How do you shake that off? So, last year we couldn't start. Remember, we couldn't start at all, but we managed to score enough points at the back end of the game. So, yeah, just those periods in the game are costing us big time. But I'll put it this way, right? Yeah, we're gutted, and it took something freakish to beat us. But up until Jonah Pezzett's attempt to field goal 40 minutes ago, they had resigned themselves to the fact that that's the only chance of winning, right? That they had the gamble and roll dice. In that last minute, it just got frantic and crazy as well. But let's put it in perspective. We had them reeling. They know that as well. So, if Warriors fans, we gutted, for the result, and obviously the history and the hoodoo we have over Melbourne. But just look at the performance and go, shit, that's a team that dominated, for not the whole game, and you've got to play 80 minutes, but just dominated for a period of time. Like that team held the Penrith Panthers to 0 the week before. Like you are playing, some of the best football in the competition. It's a long season. It's going to be a tighter season than we think. Right? You just look at the results at the moment as well. Early signs of form, all over the place. Teams are up last year, a sort of middle bottom pack. Teams that had struggled have got off to a good start. So, yeah, for Warriors fans to stick there. Like, just trust that we've got in elements of the game, the first 20 minutes of the Sharks game, that 35-minute period in the second half. That is high quality football. Just trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. I like that, because it's easy to look at an 0-2 start and just be like, what's going on here? And I guess in previous years, when we've been up against it, like we haven't been the better team. We're kind of scratching for wins. Even thinking back, like I think back to last year, and there's probably games where we haven't played as well as what we have to start this season, but we've managed to win games. And it's a I think a lot of the times the margins that we're dealing with are so small, and especially when you're playing against a team like the Storm. Be interested to see how it goes on the rematch when they come over to Mount Smart. It's in about 8 or 9 weeks' time, something like that. So, one thing you wanted to touch on, bro, was the use of the captain's challenge. What was your take on how we ran things?
Look, I mean, we all know, players, key players, senior players of the NRL know what they're talking about, right? And to have Shawnee super confident about calling for the captain's challenge on that play, just highlighted the fact that look, there was something not quite right, and we get to the black and white world of lead runners as well. And what was really surprising is in a commentary, you look at it and the bunker just dismissed it outright pretty quickly. They just applied this tried and true rule of the runner hit the player and caused interference, but it just lacked a feel for the game. Like Jerome Hughes makes, and they bring this up, they makes a defensive decision. Jackson Ford is into space. He makes the decision to step to him and tackle him and invite contact. And it's just disappointing that it didn't get considered, because it was a fairly critical part of the game too, as well. So there wasn't the winning or the losing of the game, obviously, and I don't think any of the calls were the winning and the losing of the game. But yeah, just again, we'll struggle with the inconsistencies. Next week there will be a rule that they will allow that, or they'll give a bit more time. They just seem to dismiss it outright. And I think most of us fans just feel, and even commentators are like, just missing the feel of the game.
Yeah, well, that's right. I tend to think I just think they flat got it wrong. I think in the bunker, they saw the contact, but literally Hughes had to step in to hit him.
Where does Jackson Ford go?
inside.
Where does he go? He can't disappear.
Yeah, that's right.
He's playing a hole.
Yep.
He doesn't,
And-
he
and
doesn't
he'd hit
ask
the
to be
hole.
tackled.
He was in the
Yeah.
hole, and then Hughes just went across and just sort of jumped into it. I noticed that Hughes did the same thing as well on the Montoya try. I noticed that near the post he'd sort of collided with Dylan Walker, I think it was. And it all sort of gone on in the background, and everything was going on where the try was being scored, blah, blah, blah. So everything kind of just carried on, but I just noticed a few kind of cheeky little tactics there. Also, you mentioned as well, but a little bit of credit as well for the referee, who's usually not a favourite of many Warriors fans, old Chris Butler, aka C Butts. So yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge that there was a couple of doses of absolute bollocks in there, but yeah, and all in all, we probably had a good run, I think, compared to what we normally get in Melbourne anyway, which is absolute shambles. Moneta, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, 2 games at centre, and man, he's starting to look good already.
Yeah. I mean, he kicked into gear in the second half. Oh my god! And that catch he passed off to Jackson Ford. Oh my god, they got me going, eh? Yeah, but he's looking good, eh? His defense just different. He's the total package, I think. And again last week, I wasn't quite sure of his distribution and everything like that. And I guess I'm still not quite solid as yet. But his individual brilliance to kind of break the first line and make those yardages, oh man! And the commentators will love seeing him back too. I mean, he's still got that sleek, like the side step and everything like that. He's awesome, man. He's great.
He can make even a 1 or 2 metre gain just look so entertaining,
I know.
because he'll step one way and he'll just send his opponent just falling to the ground.
I'm sure he's packed on some size, eh? He looks like way beefier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he said he was, because that was part of the plan for him to bulk up to centre size, which is also a plan that I'm following so far this autumn. But I like Webby said that in 6 to 8 weeks' time, that is when Roger is going to be basically given, the full, I think, keys to the castle in terms of the centre spot and possibly being able to roam. But how do you think he's going to manage, getting to that point? And how good is he going to look when he gets there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think you saw it last night when there's a bit of momentum. They went down the short side. That's where Roger's at his best, right? And I think it's all about timing. He's going to have to inject himself where he wants to be at the right time, and be available, to receive out, in raids, either down the blind side or with some pretty good shape. So, I mean, it's going to be amazing. We're going to have to work that though. I guess we are quite a structured attacking football team, so that's the only concern I have is coming out of structure. Because look, I mean, when we really tested them, we had those double lead runners that just with Turopiki out the back, or Metcalf on the other try as well, and that was a nice setup and shape, a bit of play. So I don't want us to disturb kind of what really works for us, but how do you then also have the balance and the flair that a Roger brings? So that's where I think a Wade will come into his own when the time is right. He can see the play the ball, and he can pick the spots. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, I think Joey Manu does it pretty well. Travojevic and Tedesco can do that pretty well, as well. So that there's a blueprint for it. We just need to make sure it all fits together in our jigsaw.
Moneta, the guy playing outside Roger, Marcelo Montoya, by sort of half time, I was getting pretty dark on him, to be fair. But yeah, what did you make? I felt like he redeemed himself a little bit in the second half, but what did you make of his performance over the first 2 games so far this season?
Game of two halves, I guess. Basically he's prone to a couple of errors. I think like late last year we were quite critical of him too. So yeah, that drop ball, it was a hard pass, but again he should be able to take those. And again that gave him the opportunity to score the try. So but again he made it up for the second half, and those hit ups, once him and DWZ get going, they get us a lot of meters. So yeah, but I think if he can get rid of those kind of errors, he looks a bit nervous at the start. Hopefully he'll get better, but there's a lot of wingers out, waiting, to have a chance. So I think he has to stay on guard and just really up another level against Canberra this Friday. Yeah.
And in terms of guys who maybe have an error in them here or there, each game, you probably say the same about Luke Metcalf as well. He's learning. I think he's been given an extension on his contract for a couple of years, so there's clearly a plan to progress him and grow him as far as he can. But yeah, Moneta, what did you make of what he's doing, and also the fact that he's now kicking the goals for us as well?
He's still learning, obviously, but he made a couple of good slick passes, and his distribution. And so I do think he's probably solidified that number 6, and he's got, great pace, and that's something that we need, I think, as a team. We missed a bit of that, I thought, last year during the finals, that little bit of a X factor. But yeah, and he's bulked up a bit. He's got the extra 6 kgs, and he looked good on defense. Commentators was pretty sold on him, but I think he'll learn over time. Just I think we just give him a chance. But yeah, he's got the goods, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure. But in terms of the sort of, I want to call it loosely a sort of 3-year plan. Obviously, we've signed on Metcalf for a couple more years. The news today that Freddie Lussick signed on to the end of 2026. We've got Wade for a couple more years as well. In terms of the dummy half position, do you think we're going to be looking at... Is that the plan, do you think, for the next couple of years is going to be using Wade and then Freddie as sort of like a 1-2 punch?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Well, depends on what you call 1-2 punch. I still think, obviously Wade's our number 1. Fair to say he's in it right, and he just brings a uniqueness to not only to our team but to any dummy half, maybe Uppy and the Tigers, that level of manipulation. But I can't see them carrying both, just for the versatility option needed. So, I do think there's a space for a CHT to be that bench dummy half, because realistically we do need, if you're going to play Wade or Freddie, they are going to play minimum 60 minutes, and like a Wade minimum 70, because you want that level of impact as well. So you kind of feel like you're wasting having Freddie on the bench with him. So hence the CHT, and I go back to last year's role that Bailey Scissor had as well. It just complemented really nice. You could fill another hole that we had. Rocco come on for HIA, then Dylan Walker filled that space as well. But you also had Tofu come off too, and you just need players with some versatility. So I think 1-2 punch, as in the 2 hookers for the team that will start. If Wade's not in, then it's Freddie. But on game day, I think they're going to look for a bit of a backup solution. Outside of that, yeah, it's probably, you've got 2, obviously one established first grade hooker, one, reasonably established, someone who, can put an effort in as well. I think you'd be looking for a young guy coming through as well, and that's the other thing you've got to think about these days as well. You've got to look and keep space available for, someone coming out of the SG ball, or coming up from the cup grade, because you can't necessarily go out and carry another first grade hooker for that money. So, but I think it's good to have guys locked into the club, been in the club for a while, been in the system. It's just smart business.
Yeah, nice. Moneta, how good was it to see our guy, Chanel Harris-Tavita, back on the field for the Warriors?
That was good. Good. I mean, like, you know, how many minutes did he play? About 10 or something like that.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, but it was
He came
good
in
to
as the
see him,
closer.
yeah. And, you know, I think, to kind of Daniel's point, I think it'll be there longer term, maybe as part of that interchange. And I'm not quite, I think he'll land some sort of spot there as a utility, because he could play, you know,
everywhere.
Edge. He could play edge, maybe. He could play halfback, hooker. So he can play a lot of positions. So, yeah, and once we have Marata back, I don't know if even Freddie may get in. I'm not quite sure, because I think we also miss Marata a bit in regards to our forwards too. So should be interesting. But yeah, it was good to see CHD back, and maybe one day I can get him on the podcast again.
Yeah, for sure.
Can we give a big shout out to the one and only Bunty R4?
Oh yeah,
I think special mention from Isaac, from Saucy, and I think we'd all agree. I think it was one of his best games. Well, definitely in the last couple of seasons as well. Just the level of impact he had, the energy he brought, and he just got back to doing what Bunty was synonymous for, I guess. Big bullocking runs, bending the line, putting the Storm under pressure, and was pretty tidy in defence as well.
He's
So,
good, eh? Real good.
and like a man probably under pressure, we've given so many options, and where he's going to start, if he's going to start, what's going to happen. But Arthur's coming back, so he did enough definitely to earn another week.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to give a massive shout out as well to the nation, the Warrior Nation. I know Richie Morgan would be, a tear would have bloody been welling up in the eye last night hearing the Warriors chant going on at Amy Park in Melbourne. I was like, oh man. And very nearly got us across the line there. Which
not only that, his level of banter across Warrior page forums, social media outlets across the board, like he, keeping things pretty positive, especially some of our fellow Warriors fans that get a little bit downbeat and get a little bit negative, and a little bit personal, and perhaps throw a few of our key players under the bus. Richie just keeping everyone honest. Some classic calls, and you can tell it's a classic call when you have 20, 30, 40 likes as well. So, just standing up for the lads, right? Because, hey, they did their best.
I do have to say the chant was better than last week's chant, the Warriors chant. Sorry, now it's again.
Hey, they had drums there as well. I was like, it sounded like almost like a Warriors home game.
It sounded more like a Warriors game than the actual game.
Booing one of Meany's kicks, and you hear this ooh. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Warriors chant, and that was in Melbourne.
I noticed that at one point, I thought I heard the drummers kind of kick in, and then people started going, Warriors! And then the drummers just kind of stopped. They were like, oh shit. We're getting the wrong result here. Anyways, moving on to round 3 and thinking positively. Buddha, how big is this game next week in Christchurch, Friday night, against the Canberra Raiders?
Absolutely massive, because I'm going to be there. I cannot wait. Getting down there. But yeah, context of the season to date, and listen to the commentary in the Sea Eagles Roosters games before. They're just highlighting how it's only round 2, but there's so much at stake at the moment. So the context of where we're at, how we've been playing. Jed pointed out, like we've had 0-2 previously, and we've probably looked 0-2 previously. We look, 1.5 and 2, to be honest, but Rugby League's cruel game. You don't get any points for being good but not winning. And then the Raiders are flying high, They've got the fucking mentality, who cares? Everyone's backs against the wall, everyone hates us. And a team that stylistically upsets us, I think. They're big, one-off runners, unorthodox, a lot of offloads, strong in the carry as well. Not a polished team, but their unpredictability can really unsettle us at times. And look, think about the Storm pulling our pants down. You go back last year, and pretty much the Raiders, should have pulled our pants down. They pretty much did as well, and we managed to ice that game. So, but it's just billed as a must-win for us as well. And we're going to play a team that's flying high, so I can't wait.
Awesome, bro. Exciting to be there as well. Ooh-wee. No streaking, eh? Not this time. Moneta, give us a quick score prediction before we jump out of here, bro.
I'll give it to the Warriors 24-20.
24-20. Butter?
Yeah, I believe we're going to beat them 26-10. We're going to tighten up on the defensive side. 2 weeks we've been so far, and I think it's enough to really give Webby a blueprint around how the season's panning out as well, and fix those issues we've got.
Yeah. At some point it's got to click, right? It's got to click. And the effort and the performance will be rewarded with the result. I'm similarly to bro. I'll go with 28-12 as well. To the Warriors, of course. It's good to see us with a bit of faith this week after Footer was the only one.
Hey? Yeah, you guys, yeah. I mean, you got the chocolates, didn't you? But,
Yeah, ultimately.
Ago.
Yeah. We were the ones who fell off the tackle of faith, and you had there. So.
Happy to be wrong.
But not this week.
But you
we'll
were
be right this
you
week.
won.
No, I'm happy to be right this time, though. I'm going to be right this time. But last week.
Yeah, alright. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care if we play awful, just win. Just win. 1 point win.
Yeah. I can't.
We'll
I'm not sure if I can handle an 0-3 start.
Hey, Penrith done it. 0-3.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I don't know. Let's not think about that.
We'll be fine.
It's all good, Warriors.
We'll be
Yeah,
all good.
it's all good.
Thanks very much for joining us on this episode of Warriors Anonymous. Don't forget to like and subscribe and get notified for our YouTube page, because we've got heaps of stuff coming up this week. So stay tuned for all of that. And on behalf of Daniel Wharekura, Moneta Sauce, and HIA Isaac Sauce, we will see you during the week. Of course, I'm not sure if Bubba's asleep or not, but up the wires. Go the Warriors!